So today we're joined by Michael Cheung from Williams Commerce. Say hello, Michael.
Hello,
Hello.
Michael.
Hello, Michael.
There you go. That works for us then. It probably should have been a smoother intro, but there you go. It wouldn't be sales fire if it was all smooth and polished. So hey ho. So obviously I wanted to get Michael on because he's a bit of a character. And probably one of the more engaging people I think I've dealt with, obviously in my time at Sales Fire. So it'd be good to have a chat with you about everything that you've done, experienced, or where you think things are going to go in the future, especially with Williams, with Magento, with Big Commerce, wherever everything could be for you.
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. How did you get started then, Michael? How long you've judging from your LinkedIn and things like that, you've been in the e-commerce world for a long time, so you must have seen some big changes. How did you end up at Williams? How did your journey bring you to this point right now?
So in terms of where I've come from to get to Williams Commerce, prior to sort of me joining, I was part of sort of an experiential company. I was a head of special projects and delivering green screen technology, in-store digital experiences. And unfortunately for that role, that got made redundant. And then obviously I was looking for a new role. And then this one pretty much came up, which obviously had a chat with Rob, CEO of the business. And and here I am. A man with many hats, but very exciting nonetheless. Looking after clients, account management, partnerships with you guys, which has been an amazing journey, over the past year now, isn't it? Year plus, I think.
Yeah, I'd go for somewhere around a year now. So obviously we've seen a lot of things from your side. You've probably seen loads from ours as well. It has been a really sort of interesting path to manoeuvre and obviously learn more about. I think you've been a big help to myself as well in learning more about the Magento and Big Commerce side as well. My experience was quite limited on that front, but hearing like the inner workings of it and things like that, it's been quite interesting. Obviously, talk through it with you and how clients view things from that side as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the thing is I think with sort of partnerships like ours, it is understanding both sides of the fence. What our merchants are doing, plus also what new developments you guys have got, and how that can all come around to offer a real good solid solution. To increasing conversion in on the client sites and merchant sites, be it sort of a single site or a multi-site, locally driven or globally driven. So yeah, really exciting.
So you say you wear quite a lot of hats across the business. What have you been doing the most the last few months? Have you found yourself sort of having to specialise in one sort of area to sort of navigate the last couple of months and how we've been doing things?
I'll tell you what, it's definitely been interesting, hasn't it? We came out of lockdown, now we're back into lockdown.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot more sort of client interaction,
Yes.
merchant interaction, looking at, what we can do to help support really, because, a lot of retailers out there in the marketplace have struggled, especially those that have, got classic traditional bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
They've struggled. So it's working with them, and just being much more proactive in being available and making sure that we can help support and giving them real good sort of new ideas, because a lot of the times, merchants owners of businesses will have a tunnel vision view as to what they want, but they forget to look outside, look outside of the traditional deliveries that you've got, where we are in a brand new world now, aren't we?
Yes.
New world? Well, it's now the world. So it's supporting them and just giving them that helping hand, so that extra kind of support mechanism, where we can add additional value in whatever part of the business that they're looking to achieve, to grow. But definitely a lot more client interaction, which is fantastic, because that's one of the things that I love is client interaction, one-to-ones, and then hooking up with partners like yourselves to kind of make sure, we offer the right solution, so.
It's interesting you say that, because we found ourselves in a very similar position. So the first lockdown, I think it's safe to say, it's all right me saying, we found a lot of people halting spend on things, so they were trying to pull back on budgets and that type of thing. Whereas this time, we found a lot more clients are more comfortable with trying to extend what they're doing and sort of broaden their horizons when it comes to how they're delivering things, and sort of being happy to move away from the more traditional delivery of stuff and look for those bigger, wider ideas like you mentioned there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I think sometimes, it's also about, especially now, consolidating multiple tools into one service provider that can offer, number one, a much richer content data set
Okay, that's
to
interesting.
to analyze, and that's been fairly recently, and there's been a bit of a pattern throughout some of the clients that I've been working with in particular, and also looking at new things as well. So, for example, VIP. Some of the retailers have never done it, and they're thinking, actually, what can we do to create a much more bespoke one-to-one type of relationship rather than just going onto our website, adding something to basket, checking out, thank you very much, hopefully see you in a couple of months or see you next year, because when you grow out your shirts or whatever. So that's been sort of really exciting, and I think a lot of sort of retailers are coming to realize they're needing to think much bigger. But I think for them it seems quite scary.
Yes.
But it's not, and it's giving them that support mechanism and showing them, actually, look, what you're looking to achieve is fully possible. That there's no reason why it can't be done, and there's lots of tools, systems, technologies out there that can really help drive and grow your business. And there's so many about. There's lots of different providers about, lots of different services. And it's just helping the client and basically consult with the client, support them all the way through to making, have the initial discussion, make an informed choice, and hopefully get it implemented. And see that all important revenue, which is what we want to see grow for our retailers.
I think that's something. I think Tim will probably back me up on this. We found ourselves coming across a lot of clients and just being really clear with them. We might not be the right mix for you when it comes to our feature set. We might not be the right mix for you. There might be someone else out there who's better. It might be worth going to talk to Michael at Williams, and he'll be able to point you in the right direction. But there are those mixes that we do work for. And I think it's allowed us to be a bit more transparent with clients on what we can and can't do for them as well. So we're not just trying to say that we can do it. We can do all of that. Don't worry about it. We're much more comfortable now, I think, saying, do you know what, we can't actually do this, so you might be better off going over here, but we can do this. So get on board for that.
I've got to say, I think one of the biggest things that everybody's looking for, and I think everyone has always been after this particular word, which is value.
Yes.
Is the added value. And, through sort of our partnerships in particular, one of the biggest benefits I see is the value that you guys give. And that's what sort of our clients are looking for. They're looking for a product that does what it says on the tin. It increases, the revenue. It supports the customer journey. It improves the customer experience, and all at the same time. Not only does the tool fit the job, but behind the scenes with the tech partner like yourself and SalesFire can fully support it from start to finish. And I think for me, that's what I like about you guys. It's the added value, which there's not many companies that do that. You go over and beyond what you just sell to help or to support the client, which is fantastic.
I tell you what, I'm putting that on Trustpilot straight away. Get that signed off now. That's happening right now. But yeah, I think what you've both, like you said, a lot of there is that, as you said, you could go and get something that does what we do for €5 a month or whatever on a Magento or Shopify marketplace. But at the same point, if you want to take your business forward, that's going to be restricted.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at the next level, then this is where you go. And then the ideas that get fed into you by the strategy team and all that sort of stuff is the real money behind it and not just the system. So yeah.
I think it's broadening what people see as value as well, isn't it? Because I think traditionally, I think it's just touching on what Michael said before, traditionally people look at value as just revenue straight away and not the points that get you to the revenue, whether it's the quality of the engagement, the time of the engagement, that type of thing. I think that's what a lot of people are starting to realise now. Are you finding that, Michael? Are you finding people are more interested in broadening their definition of value? Would that be fair to say? Yeah,
I'd say so. Yeah, especially those that haven't ventured into let's call it the personalization. There's some merchants that are a straight product listing, price checkout done. But then those clients that are a bit more wanting to get closer to the customers, that's where the whole personalization piece starts coming in, and also the VIP, that I mentioned before. Brand new world for quite a few of our merchants in particular, and previous ones that I've worked for before outside of Williams Commerce. But the VIP really makes the customer experience really special. And I think one of the tricky things is trying to replicate online that one-to-one interaction, that relationship. And it's hard to do, isn't it? Let's call it the normal traditional e-commerce delivery. But when you start adding that much richer level of customization, personalization, and supporting that customer journey from when they first land on the website through to viewing of products, adding to the basket, probably making a wish list, to checking out, it's then just further engaging. And that's probably, I guess, bar sort of one-to-one like this, you could have, what are they called? Personal shoppers.
Yes.
In store. I mean, I've never needed it. There's not much staff, to be honest. But having a personal shopper online is now becoming the next norm.
Yeah.
So it's finding, what do we need to do for our clients to make that happen? Plus also, what's the technology behind it? And again, it all sounds quite complicated. You think, I've got to stack all this stuff on top. But actually, when you look at it top level and break it down, it's actually really straightforward. You just put in what you've already done in store. Let's say you've done it before, online in front of a camera like this.
It's interesting you say that, because it's almost the way you described it there. Like me as well. I'm probably far away from ever needing a personal shopper. Do you know what I mean? I've got my wife. That's like as far as it's going to go. But the fact that it's so far out of reach, but this type of technology is almost making it accessible and usable as well. That's the other thing. Not just being able to access it, but actually like making it valuable. I've never thought about that.
Exactly, yeah. And I think if we can get customers closer to the product, closer to the journey and to the experience, it makes the customer much more bought into the brand, into the whole journey. And I think they're the businesses that will do well, I think. In just offering a much more unique, not particularly a new wondrous service, because it's all out there. But for a brand that's never done it before, it's a big thing, and it's a great piece to talk about, because obviously we're still in lockdown version 2. Both are all good, so that's all good stuff. But we don't know how long this is going to last for. It could be 2nd of December. It could be all the way up through till March.
Looking more likely, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows what happens after that, right? So I think a lot of merchants definitely need to not sit and wait, but just start thinking of some new, fresh ideas and bringing those to the table and having those conversations with the merchants is, for me, really exciting, because it's brand new conversations, things they've never thought about, and they might not even be tech savvy, and they probably haven't realised that this stuff is around,
I think that's interesting, because typically you see this sort of thing in like a super high-end fashion, where you would get a personal shopper, or you could arrange a consultation or something, or like maybe the jewellery sector, somewhere at that level. But do you think this could be something that could be opened up to maybe, I don't know, like fast fashion or something like that, or is the demand too rich for it, or is that not a brand area where you see people could cover it? I don't know, could it accelerate across everything, or is it going to be restricted to a certain bandwidth almost?
Do you mean in terms of the virtual
visual interaction? This sort of thing,
I mean, there's a couple of providers out there already that do the kind of, let's say, the personalization virtual experience. And there's no reason why not, because if I take, for example, I don't know, my camera cup, my camera mug that I've got here.
That's pretty cool, actually. I didn't notice
Which to tell you, a lot of people do think when I walk around town, people do think, why is he holding a camera lens? No, it's my coffee cup. It's my coffee cup. So, but that's the thing. So let's say, for example, if you go online and you think, great, I can. There's a wide shot, there's a close-up shot, lid on, lid off, bottom size, whatever. But actually, I'm still not quite sure.
Yeah.
So what do? Well, normal methods is I'll scan online, I'll look at images online, I'll look at reviews online. Guaranteed, it might not be the same product, so you kind of still get it because it's fully unbranded, right? This one. So your next best thing then is, I guess for me as a customer, is I want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I use something like live video chat or live chat, or maybe start off with live chat and then try and get some more information. If I can't get that, maybe then start shifting channels to then go face to face like this. And then in essence, for the agent on the other side, the customer service rep, to pop out the product and do a video demo.
Yeah.
Maybe have another one, pour it into here, then show how much water there is. So I think it's been physical as well online, and I think if retailers can do that, will it suit all retailers? I think fashion's great, because I could quite easily have a mannequin next to me, let's say, for example, and put this polo shirt on top, or if it's a dress or whatever, depending on what I've got in stock, and showcase it. You know, zoom up, look at the texture, look at the quality, look at the fit, look at the clasp. How does it hold? What's the mechanisms? If it's got a certain pattern like this number 8 on here, what does that look like? You know, so I think that's the next level of retailing. I think is that videoing live aspect, which creates that personalization, and then from that start tracking that sale. And then as part of the data analysis in the back end, the agent can say, yeah, I spoke to Tim. He fancied his blue jumper. He liked the look of it. Doesn't need a hoodie on it. I can see that he's added to cart. He's checked out. And then from that journey, you can then start adapting it. And again, you know, start developing a much more engaged relationship. And most of that, you know, some of that can be AI driven, and then some of that can be manual as well.
It's crazy when you think about it, because you're taking something so technologically advanced, but you're almost coming back full circle to the more traditional methods that these merchants are used to as well.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Exactly. And I think to do something like that is definitely going to be quite interesting and challenging, because, you know, I'm in my little small office at the moment, and I could stack boxes to my left and have unlimited quantity of stock. But if it's certain specific stock, then I won't be able to do the one-to-one.
Yeah.
So it's then, you know, on an operational perspective, so then manage, okay, what agents are going to do what, who we're going to have on this week, next quarter, what's our promo items. So rather than going the whole hog and do the full stock inventory, which would be absolutely crazy, is then probably just to have some selected exclusive products to showcase, or products that you really want to shift, especially if it's a hero image that's on the homepage.
Yeah.
You know, no doubt there'll be a lot of interest, there'll be a lot of buzz around it. Guess what? We've got an agent online that can have a chat, show you the product, and hopefully, I think you're more guaranteed to then make a sale, because I can see you, I can talk to you, you can show me bottom of it, side of it, inside it, how it works, you know, and that you can't get even with a YouTube video, you know, product video. I mean, it's great. I mean, for example, I've literally just upgraded my phone, and I went on to GSM Arena to look at the specs. I compared it against other phones. I read reviews. I looked at high-res images. I went on the Samsung website, and I thought, I kind of want to see other aspects of it, but I have to do with what I've got, right? So unless if I went off to, I don't know, somewhere like, I know sort of Curry's and PC World, Dixon's. Is it Dixon? Curry's PC World, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
PC World, yeah. I think Dixon's
they do that sort of experience where it's a personal video. So I can chat to somebody and say, hey, I'm interested in this phone. Can you show me?
Yeah. So do they have the stock at hand when they're doing that, or are they literally are they just doing a more enriched version of sort of your standard product page?
It's definitely enriched in terms of video. Yeah. I think most of the staff. I mean, I've not been on sort of personally myself, but I know how that technology works.
Mm-hmm.
But before the lockdown, they were actually in store.
Oh, okay.
So they could walk around with the headset, with the camera on the gimbal, and then walk around the store and actually, go up to the section and say, oh yeah, we've got the S20, for example, and the guy can actually put the gimbal down, put it on a tripod, and show it physically hand to hand. So I think for me, that's the next level of customer interaction, I'd say. Because we've all seen the AI stuff as well, not AI, AR, augmented reality.
Yes, seen bits of it,
yeah, because that can be. I think augmented reality works. That's a really expensive piece of tech as well. Mm-hmm. They're definitely not a cheap thing to do, but it's a great piece of tech if utilised correctly, but all driven as part of a digital marketing strategic campaign.
Yeah. Are you finding in a partnerships perspective, I know you could, with you being your two guys' speciality, how are you finding doing the meet and greets and sort of keeping up with partners and things like that across Zoom and across Teams and that type of thing? Are you looking forward to going back to the Expos and back to people's offices, or are you quite happy as it is?
I tell you what, from my standpoint, there's nothing will ever replace, like Michael said there, it's like the same sort of area.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing will replace seeing someone in person, giving them a handshake, doing whatever you need to do, or even just going for a simple beer with them after like a networking do.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of stuff that gets sorted after something like that is outrageous. But I think obviously when at present like Teams and stuff like that and Zoom is a suitable replacement for the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly can't wait to get back to normal.
I think for me, I miss that physical interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, love working from home, but I guess I'm quite privileged because I've got my own home office, so that makes it back. I can easily shut the door and forget about it and walk past the office door and do the normal housey type stuff. But I think webinars like this or conference calls. Well, do you know what? Conference calls have now turned into webinars.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. We have a conference line and we just don't use it anymore. Well, I don't anyway. I'm not sure about the other guys within the business, but I definitely have many, many more Zoom, Microsoft Teams meetings, Google Hangouts, another one, isn't it? So it's great because this is our next ability that we can have, isn't it, as a face-to-face? I mean, once when we come out, let's hook up, go for a nice lunch, talk business, and it's that because you can do more. Definitely, sort of when you're physical face to face.
I've had any of these digital expos or anything like that. I haven't attended anything like that yet. How have they been pulled off? Have they been successful? I mean, in terms of what you guys wanted to get out of it. I don't know if you've attended any, Michael. I know Tim's been to a couple.
Yeah, I had to go to one before, and it was literally a version of The Sims. Like you would just walk around and you would go to like stands and stuff, and I was like, "What is going on here? Do I have to put Rosebud in and get like a couple 100,000 credits or something and see what's happening?" But it was again, it's another thing where it was useful to a point because you could then use that to then book a meeting and then do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like, to be honest, it's like, I don't know if it's probably worth the expense that the people put on, like paid out for it. Sorry if you're listening. But LinkedIn does the same job for me, I find.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the whole networking business. I mean, my LinkedIn profile is definitely just gone bonkers this year.
Mm-hmm.
But
influencer.
Probably.
He's got the blue tick. Watch out.
Like Michael's come in, watch out, another post. I think Expos. I think last year I went to the e-commerce expo.
Yes.
Down in London, and it was like a full day event and brilliant because again, meeting up with our partners face to face, just getting the buzz, the feel of just what's on offer.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get that sense when you do a virtual expo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it is even recorded. So obviously they have a schedule list of all the different time slots, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And some of them aren't live, and you just think, oh, that's a bit disappointing, because you would have thought,
yeah.
you know, I mean, they've made the effort to record it and edit it and put it on live.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, you know, if you've got a question and you want to type it out, it actually won't get answered anyway. But they'll pretend that, you know, oh, I haven't got time. We'll get back to you. It's like, yeah, it's been recorded.
Yeah.
The worst part is I've knocked out some of my best questions ever in them as well, and I've thought, right, this is going to be great. This sit back, watch, and it's like, right, that's all we got time for now, and I think, oh,
Yeah. Before you hit enter, go delete.
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, forget it, delete.
Do you see yourself carrying anything over? Has it made anything easier? Are there any aspects of it that hasn't made it easier, or do you reckon you're going to be going back to it full sail when we're sort of when the vaccine's about and we're out with it?
Oh, do you mean the meet and greet?
Yeah, like that type of thing. Do you reckon there's going to be any space for the sort of the digital expos, maybe on a smaller scale, or do you reckon it's going to go once we're back in normal, everyone's going to go back to how it was?
I reckon there might be a mixture.
Okay.
I think, yeah. I think the expos. I mean, they've struggled obviously, but they've had to massively adapt. I don't know what the numbers are like, the attendees are like, but I guess it's made it a little bit more or much more amenable to people who wouldn't go down to London.
That's interesting.
To Leeds, because if you think about, you know, where we are right now, we're literally sat in front of our desks with our kit. So if something comes on, we can still watch and listen and still reply to email. So you're kind of then multitasking. So I guess it gives that flexibility. Plus, you could argue, saves environment. You know, we're not traveling around.
Very true.
You know, in our lovely helicopters.
Yeah. Well, trucks, it makes sense. Trucks full of stands and that type of thing. You got to get it up and down and get it out and get it to the next place. It all adds up.
Expensive, isn't it? Because you can have lots of virtual backgrounds that you can stick up, you know, to promote the business. So I think marketing, that's quite interesting actually, because marketing budgets have shifted, haven't they? You know, what were sort of very much a traditional marketing, like I say, print banners, print brochures, print leaflets, merchandising products as well.
Yeah.
When you do an event, because it's virtual, you don't really need to do that, really, you know. So
yeah, we've seen people adapting with the sort of the Just Eat vouchers, the coffees being sent, that type of thing. Yeah, it's been pretty cool in that regard, seeing it adapt.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely something we've tried to do. Our the physical arm of ours, where it wasn't the biggest, so our brochure sends and that type of thing. That it sort of ground to a halt for a little bit, didn't it? But again, we just turned them into PDFs all of a sudden, and we were still getting them.
Oh yeah. There's the plant.
That's only for our most special partners, that, Michael.
There you go. So top secret there. We can't put that in. Delete that out now. Nobody else can see that.
Yes, sorry.
Cut. Yeah.
Awesome.
To be fair though, I think that was quite, as you say, like it was interesting hearing the hybrid approach, and I think it could be something that could well come to face in the future as well.
I know that Klarna one, for instance, we sat on the partner day one. That was pretty cool. That was executed really well. Have any of the rest been like that though, Tim? Because that seems like they really went all out for that one.
To be fair, there's a couple where you watch them and you feel like there's been a significant amount of budget spent, but I suppose probably going to, like, again, for like different size companies, I'd imagine you can't probably execute it in the same way that a Klarna could, or I don't know, like a Magento could or something like that. So you've got to look at being smarter with it, I imagine, again. So it's more a case of doing little neat things, I suppose, rather than doing like big, massive, like gift hamper sort of job or whatever, or like sending out like a 50 quid voucher or something like that to people. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be done smarter. But then I suppose what Michael said there, that cost that you would have incurred by doing the expo, sending 10 people down, hotels, food, all that sort of gear, could then just shift that budget into something like that as well.
Maybe further reach.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of like translating that budget across, but then people don't have to go anywhere. It's so much easier on businesses on the whole.
Yeah, it's true.
Clear.
So what are the next couple of months looking for you like then, Michael? What are Williams up to in the near future?
Well, We've have a new sales director. We've got a new marketing manager.
Oh wow.
We've been one of the real fortunate ones in the sort of agency world where we've been recruiting over the past year. So we've not lost any staff. So we're just growing. And I think that's probably because obviously the whole redirection of retailers now looking to go online or enhancing. So work has gone up. And I think for us, because we brought in the new sales director and the new marketing manager, it's then for us to sort of grow even further for 2021 and to be much more collaborative and much more proactive with our clients as well. Whereas before, though we had our monthly catch-ups or once every 2 week catch-ups, it's now looking at, okay, what do we need to do to make you successful?
Okay, that's interesting.
Now we've got all of our partners in place as well to then really leverage all the partnerships and listen out for all the pain points as well, and bringing in the conversational pieces and directing the merchants over to yourself, for example. So I think Q1 is going to be an interesting time, because if the lockdown does get extended, I think that would definitely have probably a small impact. Hopefully not too great, not as great as the first lockdown where everybody was panicking.
Nobody knew what was going on.
But now we're in the second lockdown, it doesn't seem that bad. Things seem to have carried on as normal actually for us. So, projects are starting, nothing's put on hold. Clients, sort of in terms of revenue are still ticking over.
Cool.
So I think Q1's going to be looking okay, and then for us next year is definitely growing and offering that consultative service as a holistic multi-channel business.
Looking after everything. I think we've talked to quite a few people, everybody who's been putting that work in over these lockdowns and haven't halted the spend, and that they've kept at it. They've sort of just built a head of steam, basically. So when they've came into this one, not only with people still managing to grow, when we come out of this, some of these, the momentum some of these companies have grown like yourselves is going to be absolutely crazy. Yeah,
I think so. And the ones that have thought ahead of the curve, let's call it. Not on the wrong curve.
I was going to say, not that, please. No.
We don't want the COVID curve.
Not that
one. But the ones that are sort of let's say are innovative, happy to take on and look at new technologies, looking at great new experiences, and to help improve the business. Not just online but as a whole. And I think they're going to be the ones that are going to be they're going to be the ones that will do really well in 2021. And the ones that haven't, they'll need to sort of still catch up, I think.
There is a vibe going around that the sort of the paradigm is going to shift, I think, when we come out of it. Because there are you touched on this earlier, Michael, the people who are really safe with the more traditional ways of doing stuff. They may have been they were the bigger slice of the pie, for lack of a better term, when we went into this. And then all of a sudden, these people who just weren't so stuck on the traditional ways of doing stuff and were looking, right, what can we do, how can we keep this going, who weren't being so sort of protectionist about what they were doing, but they're really starting to gain some momentum, and it's not sort of the type of momentum that's really going to slow either as well, because it doesn't seem like they're going to be.
No, actually, one big area of growth is B2B. We've had a lot of B2B inquiries.
Okay.
And obviously they've been hit quite heavily, because obviously traditional B2B is very much on an account basis. You've got the sales reps going out there, you've got the trade meeting each other, then obviously they're missing all the trade shows.
Yeah.
And B2B for us has grown, and that's going to be a big focus for us into 2021. And also sort of the integration of ERP, Microsoft Dynamics, for example. That's a new part that we got set up. So we've integrated before, and now we're offering it out as a full-on solution.
That's interesting. Obviously, B2B traditionally hardest thing to get going digitally. It's tough to get up and running.
And a lot of traditional B2B retailers are very hesitant. And they're definitely playing it safe to start with. I think they just want to test the water.
Okay.
But the ones, again, that can see the vision and understand what they need to do, you go all out, because the whole aspect around personalization, recommendation still applies.
Yes.
You know, you're still selling to somebody. In this case, it's another business. But even that business doesn't necessarily know what products you've got, or what's an ideal product, or what's a matching product.
Yes.
They might have read online or through a trade magazine, if people still do magazines. I think they do. They'll go, oh yeah, that's a great camera mug, I'll buy that. But actually, do you know what? You can have lots of different colours. You can have a different lid that goes on top. So yeah, I think it's, you know, the B2C principle also applies to B2B, but it just needs to be adapted. But you know, the tools are there though for trade to utilise.
That is interesting, that. I mean, because I suppose when you're looking at the personalisation on a B2C level, that is borrowing from some of the more account-based things that B2B has traditionally done as well.
Yeah. So
but by getting the more information as you go through and you're personalising it and you're putting your segments out there and things like that, that is traditionally, if you look at it, someone's little black book, it's almost like that, isn't it, when it comes to traditional B2B?
Yeah, and you know, you'll have small trade accounts. You've got the medium, then you've got the enterprise level accounts, and especially for the small traders, you know, they're not gonna. They've got to be really selective as to what products they choose.
Yeah.
But again, if they can have the helping hand as part of that journey to help, you know, them to buy the right products that's on trend, that's going to be, you know, a hit this Christmas or for you know, Easter, you know, there's Easter toys, Easter eggs or whatever, then, you know, let's give them that support. And again, this all loops back to adding value to the whole journey.
Yeah.
And I think trade is always seen as very much I call it a grey game, in that it's very traditional. It's very, very old school, but you know, there's no reason why not. B2B utilizes all the tech that's out there and adapt it and configure it for other businesses.
Well, the first ones to make that step as well, they're the ones who are going to be able to really capitalize on it too. So
exactly.
Now's the time. I'm getting the wrap up hand movements from our producer here. I think we could have gone on this for ages. I know, he's flew by.
Sorry though, we'll stick Michael's affiliate link for his mug below as well. So
I was going to say, I think the camera mug's been the star of the show, definitely. Right, amazing. I'm sure we'll do this again then, because I think we only really scratched the surface for that there. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Michael.
Thank you. That's gone super fast.
It has, hasn't it? I think we'll have to get part 2 done pretty quickly. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Speak to you soon.
Pleasure, mate.
Cheers.